Hello, my friends. In today's video, you'll learn about the carpenter who lost a large part of his face after being afflicted by a serious illness. But his wife did an excellent job of research and managed to get in touch with a team that was able to give her husband a new life. But before this video starts, so you don't forget, please click like and subscribe to the Mira Histórias channel. Thank you. Have you ever thought about having to choose between losing your face or losing your life? No one should have to go through that. It seems extreme and cruel, and in fact, it must be. But the man in this story went through this situation. In the early 2000s, 44-year-old Donnie Fritz, a resident of the state of Georgia in the United States, was newly married, happy, and good-looking. Life was definitely good for Donnie and his wife Sharon, but a detail on Donnie's face was about to turn a happy life into a nightmare. Just a few years after his second marriage, the American began to notice unusual pains in his teeth. One night, he woke up with unbearable pain in his mouth, as if his teeth were being pulled out. The next day, Donnie, who also had swelling in his nose, went to a dentist who prescribed antibiotics and said he was suffering from sinusitis. Despite being medicated, the man continued to feel pain and realized that his teeth were getting looser. It took 14 doctors, including dentists and oncologists, to arrive at the diagnosis that he had a rare and aggressive type of cancer called a ameloblastoma of the jaw, which arises in the epithelium that forms the enamel of the teeth. It's so rare that only 26 cases have been recorded. His only hope was the removal of the cancer, and 8 months after the diagnosis, the doctors made him choose his face or his life. I fell apart. The doctor told me that he would have to remove a good part of my face. I hesitated, but he told me that I had to choose between my life and my appearance, Donnie recalled. When the patient asked the doctor what his chances were, he received the devastating percentage of only 2.5%. Then, after 12 hours of surgery, the doctors removed 3 tumors from Donnie Fritz's face. He no longer had cancer, but it came at a price. A large part of his face was removed, including a lot of tissue, bones, and muscles. Only his 2 eyes, forehead, cheeks, chin, and lower lip remained. Surprisingly, the operation was a success, but when Donnie woke up from the anesthesia and saw his reflection, he was horrified. He said, "I woke up in a blur and looked around. The good news was that I still had my eyes and hadn't lost my vision. The bad news is that I was horrible. I caught a glimpse of myself in a bright part of an X-ray machine while I was lying there, and actually pushed myself back while I was lying there, thinking I had seen a ghost or a monster. Then I realized it was me." In the following 6 years, Donnie Fritz had to undergo 35 more operations to stabilize his face. However, he still had a huge hole in the center of his face. He sometimes wore a mask in public to hide the deformity, and was heartbroken when he saw small children running to their parents in fear after seeing him. Other people shouted "freak" when they passed him on the street. As Donnie became increasingly reclusive, his wife decided to solve the problem with her own hands. She started researching the internet for people who could help. It was then that Sharon found a specialist who made prosthetic disguises for CIA agents who agreed to help Donnie. Then, along with a plastic surgeon, he made Donnie a new upper lip, and an oral surgeon installed titanium implants and gave him a new set of teeth. In 2011, a metal frame was screwed onto Donnie's face to support the new face and palate. For the first time in 7 years, Donnie was able to walk on the street or shop without looking like a freak. It was amazing, he said. It looked very real, too. When I left the house, there were no stairs. People didn't even notice that I was different. However, unfortunately, his joy was short-lived after a life-threatening infection set in. The area of skin around the metal implants developed a bacterial infection that almost killed him because it was close to the brain. Donnie was back to square one. However, thanks to a series of operations, including the fitting of a metal cage on his face to hold the prostheses, the carpenter now has a new face. It's amazing, now I can go out in public with my wife, and I didn't remember what it was like to kiss her. The next dream I want to fulfill is to have dinner out without having to scare anyone in the restaurant, Donnie concluded. Donnie is a miracle in himself, but the fidelity and companionship of his wife, who never let go of her husband's hand, are admirable. She honored everything she promised in her marriage, together in health and in sickness. What did you think? Leave your comment and don't forget to click like. If you happen to be new here, take the opportunity to subscribe here to the Mira Histórias channel, so you will have easy access to our stories and updates. Thank you and see you in the next video.
Assista ao vídeo indicado.
Watch the dubbed video.
Mira el video doblado.
吹き替え版の動画を見てね. شاهد الفيديو المدبلج. 더빙된 영상 봐. Regarde la vidéo doublée. Schau dir das synchronisierte Video an. Guarda il video doppiato. Смотри дублированное видео. Dub kiya hua video dekho. Dublaj de videoyu izle. Tonton video yang sudah didubbing.